Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dare around Yakspin. We have a fantastic show for you. First, NCSoft earning report of 2019, All or Nothing Requiem on Guild Chat, and the War Eternal patch coming next week, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question, what side will this thief end up on in this eternal war? Say hello to Age.
The one that wins.
Oh, snap.
So you're a mercenary.
Pretty much. I'm like Bronn in Game of Thrones.
Spoilers!
That's not a spoiler. He's always on the side that wins.
Yeah.
True. I don't know. I'm scared of the internet. Spoiler. Everything's spoiler. But
Tell
she's
you.
an
No, go ahead.
What? Oh, she's an editor at Guildmag, writes for MMORPG.com, also her own site, MMORally.com, also is a moderator at MMO Champion. Is she willing to give us an eternal roar? Say hello to Robin.
Roar.
There you go.
Hi. Yeah.
You were saying?
Oh no, I was gonna say I could go into a random story about Giant's Milk if you want.
Oh. Somehow I feel like that might be I don't know.
It is a thing that happened, but you know.
Honestly,
whatever.
if you're here for if you're worried about old spoilers at this point, it's probably not the show today because, I mean, our first topic, War
Right.
Eternal,
yeah,
coming
if you're
out.
not caught up on the story, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is like, we're not going to put spoiler tags. This is like your only shot here. This is, I mean.
It's been
because-
what, 3.5 months at this point? 4 months?
Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
So,
But yeah, so we talked about last week how they kind of just gave us a teaser trailer of kind of like what stuff we were expecting from the patch, like just like little features. And all they said was it was coming out May, and we were all kind of guessing what day could that be. Well, they gave us another more story-based trailer that is saying it is coming out May 14th, which is next Tuesday. Holy crap. Like, and we have the trailer here and it has little subtitles on there. So if you haven't seen it, you can kind of read along in it, but,
Yay.
it kind of gives the standard stuff that we talked about last week, showing the upgradable armor, the Mishard armor, the Exordium Greatsword, more about the Skyscale mount, but it's this one's more focused on, you know, the story, this War Eternal, and it's definitely a little tough to watch. I mean,
Definitely
But,
plays up on the many feelings left over at the end. I also for me, the side stories they did, I feel like Ritlock's was the strongest because it tied more into everything that had just happened. I mean, the other ones had good things about them and were great in their own way, but that one, it was more of a direct tie and had relevance. And so the part in the trailer where Ritlock and Logan are working together, going over things, I was like, oh, yay. It called up that for me.
yeah.
Moment.
I think the other two more flushed out their backstories than I think Ritlock's did, which we'll talk
Yeah.
about the third one since that also did release this week.
Right.
Man, they were really saving it all for the very end. Like,
I mean, Redlocks did in a way too, because he did talk about his history as a runt and all of that, and working his way through the ranks and how it was tied to his sword. He felt in a lot of ways, and working through all of that, but it also had more relationship to the immediate events.
yeah. But yeah, I noticed a lot of people have been trying to pick apart, of course, the trailer, and people are like, "Oh, look where Logan's pointing and stuff on the map." But I think it's just, as you can see, as the story progresses, it's just general gestures. Like I've seen some people saying, "Like, look what Bram's holding. It must be scrolls or something." And as it pans further, it's pillows for what looks like Timey. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like
I
he's
don't know. A
bringing
lot of
her
people are
pillows.
really, a lot of people are really trying to take anything they can out of this, which
I mean, yeah, there could be some meaning in like where Logan's pointing, but also like I wouldn't put it past ArenaNet to be like, oh, let's make him point to this because they'll think that, you know, as misdirection, you know, too. So
well, that's the thing. He points, I think, at first to the like far western portion of the map, and then as it progresses, I think it's playing right here, right now. He then sweeps across the whole map. Like it's not like,
right.
you know, it's not like he's literally like circling like here. This is definitely the spot that we need, or. But I know I know a lot of other people were thinking the possibility of some kind of resurrection type thing. Especially, I like the wording here where they're talking about, you know, the war eternal and how war is life, but life is like I forget, like I think they said life is eternal or something. It's like if you piece it together, like they're saying, you know. Or no, life is war, war is eternal, and like so it's like, does that mean life is eternal?
B
like,
equals C,
yeah,
A equals C.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
we're going to Coffee Stain Island. Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe we could see like a resurrection of her as a branded version of herself retains like some of herself. I guess that's possible, but I don't know. I feel like it would take away some of
would
the
it take
gravity.
away from last episode, like the power, the impact of it?
Yeah. Personally, I think we're going to the Mists. We're going to take it to the Mists, meet him down there. Because the Mists are internal until he eats it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Glenn's
personally,
there, so she'll be there.
and that might be how this basically it could live forever type thing, because Glenn's still there and technically she's dead. I mean,
yeah, it's like the Star Wars Force Ghosts, like except for we have the Mists. That's where everybody goes. You're still there, but you're just in the Mists. It's interesting.
I mean, I'm kind of greatly like stumped by what it could be, but that kind of makes me excited. Like
well, you know, in the normal structure of things, this episode, the first section of it should wrap up like what happened in the last episode and wrap up this season mostly, but then the next part of it should lead into the next season. And like,
and I think that's
honestly, huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think that's honestly my question, because especially with that last tagline of it may not be the end, it
it's
might
just
be
the beginning. Yeah, I'm curious about that too. I honestly don't know where they're going with any of this, like at all.
Yeah, the end of the beginning is how they refer to it as. So it's like
everything we've done up until this point was the beginning.
Yeah, it's like, isn't everything literally gonna go, like, was this all like basically 1 or 2 and now we're gonna go at like level 10 here? Like, is the world just like literally about to like slide
we
into
end this
nothingness?
episode and it ends with the announcement that we are now converting to Guild Wars 2-3. Boom.
Guild Wars 2-3?
Yes.
2-3.
Guild Wars 3.
Oh, okay.
That's what the next season is. Will be the drop of Guild Wars 3. Like, boom.
Oh, that's... Sheesh, that would be a tough...
That would be crazy.
So many people are like, oh, I just bought the game. Well, get ready to buy another one.
What?
If we went down that road, I think it'd be more like... It's like Guild Wars 3, but it's just the same game, but like updated a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't see them changing a lot in terms of the systems and things like that if they made a third one. So pretty good right now. Like,
right. I mean, it's still a good looking game and whatnot.
Yeah. I think people want, what, DX12 now?
I thought they got that in there.
Well, there's a... someone made something that uses DX12.
Oh, I thought they had incorporated it in finally.
Yeah, chat saying Guild Wars 2 4K. Yeah. I mean, they talked about all these like features that didn't need expansions or maybe even a new game. Like maybe they're
Right.
able to add these things and
Yeah. I know I said last week I wouldn't watch the trailer, but I
But you
kind of
did.
did. It's like a little bit just to see like if they would give away like what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they didn't.
which
They
which they
didn't.
didn't. Which kudos to them and I think
Yeah.
it's just because it's such a big. Oh yeah, and chat's saying BDO did it. Blade and Soul
Mhm.
is doing it. So yeah, it's not an uncommon thing for people
Yeah,
to revolutionize the game.
Yeah.
that's what I really like.
I
'Cause
do. Go ahead. No.
I just don't want to know what happens.
Right. I do hope that somehow the sky scale is tied into the story itself, like kind of how the beetle was, but more so. Like, I want that to be a main, like not a main part of the story, but you know what I mean. Like, instead of it being like, oh yeah, and there's this dragon you can fly, whatever, go work on that. You know?
Well, I'm trying to think like every single part of the. Well, I have the game open. Let me check masteries.
And
'Cause
chat's even
I
saying
was
Blade and Soul's actually switching to Unreal 4, which is actually interesting because Blade and Soul is an NC Soft
Right.
property, which
It is.
maybe they are moving this throughout all their games that are applicable for. Because
Right.
I mean, Lineage and Lineage 2 might be a bit dated to try that, but
Right.
I mean, we'll talk about it because it's like they did their earnings report, but it's
Yeah.
confirmed Guild Wars 2 is in Unreal 6. Wow.
Woo!
But yeah,
Yeah.
that could be interesting.
Huh.
What were you saying? Ed?
I was trying to compare like all the masteries we've been getting during the season. And it's just like I get your point. There's improvements to mounts and things like that. So yeah, I guess I think we can assume that the sky skill will be important to the story. They're not just
Yeah.
gonna put it in just because. They're gonna have a purpose for it.
Well, like the thing with the beetle was I don't even remember, but like it was literally not Gork, the other one. Whatever. Gork's brother essentially had a beetle and then you helped him through the collections, like raise it and grow it into a mount.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was loosely tied in the story, but it
Oh,
didn't
okay. I see.
have any importance to the story or anything. And I'm kind of hoping that the sky. Thank you, Blish. I was like, what the fuck? Wait, no, was it Blish?
Yeah. Oh, this is his brother.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying which one of them had the beetle originally. I think maybe it was a joint thing they were both working on. I don't know, whatever. Either way, they had a beetle. You helped them through the collections, grow it and stuff. Okay. Thank you, Games Love Life. My brain gets confused sometimes. But I'm hoping the sky scale will like be important for the story. Like we discover it through the story and it allows certain things to happen that we didn't know about and it plays a role in the story. Like I want it to be like fundamentally important and tied into the story because like everybody who is going to be playing the story has POF. They have the ability to get the masteries and all that. They might not have the points for it. That's a whole other thing. But like, even if you need a sky skull to do certain parts of the story, they can always do what they do with the other ones and let you rent them or something, to make it complete, even for people who didn't necessarily have the points to buy it once they finished the track. So
Yeah, as far as I'm trying to remember here, it seems like the sky skill masteries. I just looked them up real quick. It doesn't seem like they're like necessary for story.
right.
You could just get the sky scale and then like get the masteries after. So
Right, and that's fine. Like the mastery can be separate, but like I want the story to tie into the sky scale itself.
yeah,
somehow.
so I could see it working. We'll see
what
what
if they're talking about this War Eternal? People want this rebornness, like maybe an essence of her, of Aurene gets put into your sky scale, and it's like we finally got to ride Aurene, blah blah, like everything that people wanted, and
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, thanks for crushing that tree.
I'm here to help. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this story. I'm really excited. I know Irene's gonna live. I just don't know in what form.
Right. And how.
So, but
Do
yeah,
you think that?
like, is she
In
gonna
some
live?
way. Yeah. I mean, Glint's still around in the mist, so come on.
I think she's going to.
Or do you think they're throwing that out there so we hope?
It's possible
And maybe
that
it's something else that comes back, or
well, I'm thinking Irene's probably going to come back, but like at the end of this episode, she departs somewhere.
Interesting.
he leaves us again.
I don't know if we're gonna like see her again, type of thing after this episode.
Like, hello, things are great, but my people need me.
Well,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Well, we're her people, and she saves us. But then she goes afterwards. Like,
Right.
that's the type of thing.
Draco Lich Arlene.
She's gonna basically pull a Gandalf, and then just leave us afterwards.
My name's
don't
not
know.
Arene anymore. It's Arena.
There you go. But that's kind of the idea I have in my head what the story is going. And since we're gonna roll right into season 5, like
Honestly, Wispy, was it Wispy? Yes, the secret message from Glint. My personal theory on that was Glint was saying, all right, you're going to die. Fight as hard as you can, but you're going to die, but it'll be okay. Like, I think that's basically what Glint's message to her was.
And that's what chat's saying, is like the whole dragon ascension thing is supposedly different than the human ascension that we've experienced and all that stuff. And
yeah.
Yep.
I really don't know which way. I think it will be something like that, but if that's the case, shouldn't there be other dragons that ascended? Like, why is it only
Not necessarily.
Why is it only Glint and Arene?
Well, I don't think Glint is necessarily ascended so much. Like, she's in the mist and she still exists, but plenty of people too. Arene's gone through a lot of things that no other dragon's gone through. Like, she got a bunch of Balthazar's energy. She ate what's his face, Joko Loco. So, like, who knows what magic she absorbed from him. Like, there's a lot of things that happened with her. And plus, we found out also that this part, according to Glint, could not happen until she ate Joko. Or the Joko died. She didn't say specifically she had to eat Joko. But until Joko died, none of this could happen. So I have to figure that, like, that's going to play in somehow.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm definitely curious to see where this goes. I have no idea. But if you've watched some of the other, like, websites that have been covering the announcement, I know, I'm guessing Guild Wars 2 gave out like a packet of pictures and whatnot. It shows off some of like more stuff about the legendary greatsword, and I think it's like the in the hands of a necro, it almost looks like a scythe, like
when you use direct kills.
Yeah, so which is pretty awesome, and like I think the other one was. I think it showed in someone else's hands, but I don't know if it changed all that much. But
it does. Like, there was some mesmer things that it looked totally different depending on what abilities they use. It seems to very much change itself depending on who's using it and what abilities they're using it. And I really, really, really wish ArenaNet would stop putting in really awesome legendaries that I want to make, because there's too many at this point. Like, stop.
Yeah. I too am also day wanting this,
Nice.
although I'm not fully prepped because I have to be here. But
oh wow, blame us.
Aw.
It's okay. But I kind of like the way they're going with this legendary weapon. It seems like the great swords get like
the most love,
the extra flair.
Yeah. Because the first one was the 2 that became a third one.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. I think it's partly because, like, I think great swords really lend themselves to really cool design things because, one, they're so big and there's so much to work with.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's one thing I would like to hear, like with like a guild, like when all these are out, like a guild chat saying like, because we always say like when they put out like gem store stuff or something, it's like, oh, it's so easy to do the shield one because it's basically like a free palette. Like,
Right.
I'm wondering from different aspects, like just designing the weapon itself, is the shield so nice because you kind of have that easy working space,
Right.
versus maybe animating, like you said, the different animations, because that was kind of the idea behind legendaries to an extent, was like, oh, your skills would have a different effect to it, but nothing compared to what they're kind of showing off for this greatsword, where it's like unique animations.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is with some of the other ones, like you can really mess around with the shield and a greatsword setup and still get the feeling of those pieces come across pretty clearly. But there's only so much you can mess with the shape and form of like a war horn or like, you know, some of the more other ones, like even the bows, like there's only so much you can do with that structure before you lose the feeling of a bow, you know? It's really easy to get too caught up into being like, oh, this is cool. And then at the end you're like, wait, what is that supposed to be? Is it a bow? Like, you know, so I can understand that playing a part too.
And Chad is asking, do you think there will be a Gen 3 legendary set? Which,
Season 5, episode 1 will answer that question, I think.
Yeah, making up for a hot not having a complete set, they're finishing off the second generation now. This is one of the reasons why I feel like it's unlikely we're going to get a third gen anytime soon.
Yeah, it's more like it's possible to do per episode, like they've been doing it consistently, but if they want to keep doing that, that's gonna show in the 5th episode.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but
or if anything, then maybe they'll lessen it some, because if we do one every episode, we're gonna hit the spot where we hit with like maps where people are like, there's just some people are so spread out, there's gonna be so many legendaries that it's not gonna feel legend. Like,
I think it'll just like, I don't think it's a worst thing in the world. I think
I've already got too many I want to make now, Age.
I have too many I have to make.
All right.
But since I'm making all of them, so but I think they're not going to be. I think they're going to reuse maps rather than make new maps.
I hope so.
I think that's on the drawing board.
I don't know. I feel like they need to take a bit of a break from the legendaries once they get all of the Gen 2 out there. Like, just take a break. It's fine.
I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's possible. I'll say it's possible. I don't know if it's something they're going to do, or if that's what people want.
Right. Well, it's like one of those things where like a lot of things are possible. It's just a question of where you want to put the resources towards.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll want to do Gen 2 underwater legendaries, because they really have not been making have they been making any underwater ones?
I mean, they made it
part of a set.
No, but they have been supporting like getting people's skills to work underwater. So there's been updates to underwater, but no, there hasn't been really underwater weapons added.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be cool if they added like a Gen 3. It'd be interesting what the recipes for that would be. I guess, because like right now, Gen 2, you can use Path of Fire or Hot to make them.
I thought there were certain ones that you had to use hot stuff for and certain ones that were Path of Fire stuff for.
Possibly for the first initial ones.
Because I thought all the ones that they had before they scrapped the whole legendary journey aspect, all those ones only used hot materials, I thought.
Yeah, someone correct me, but I'm pretty.
I thought
I
they made
thought
it
you
so
can
you could
use
use
Path
either
of Fire
or.
stuff to make legendary.
Well, the
But-
ones, what I'm saying is all the ones that they were still doing the legendary journey for, I think were hot ones, and all the ones that came out after POF launched used POF stuff.
Maybe. It's interchangeable minus the ones that need a collection. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first four, Nevermore, Astralia, Chuka, Chunkalot, and
Hope.
Hope. That's it. Yeah. So those four need hot. The rest you can use pure for hot. Okay, cool.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oops.
So
Gotcha.
I don't know what other materials that they would go for. Like maybe they go for like the season, like the episode will have a currency that drops only on that map or something, or
Right.
like so
Well-
there's a lot to
Skyscales.
consider there too. Like do
Yeah,
they
I mean, they
have
can-
hot stuff? you
if
know?
they did another generation, they could tie it down to just POF or stuff. Because I think the reason that they made the other ones interchangeable was because originally the second generation was something they planned for with hot, and it
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
timing and time of developing those didn't work out.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? They might be able to use like the same materials. It might be this Gen 2 recipe. I don't know. Do you think we'll get a new trinket like Aurora that puts us back in farming on the map? I think so, yes.
Yeah.
It's a high probability, but don't
Yeah,
be
I
sad
mean,
if there isn't any, I guess.
At
Well, I
some
was gonna
point.
say, I mean, people liked it so much. I wouldn't be surprised if they do have one that overarcs the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, I've been all this week. I've been literally going back to older maps, POF maps, just that I can get those achievements done, or a bunch of them that I think that I'll need, that are time like basically the time gated ones.
Yeah. I
Oh,
need
you're
to
on the
work
hook, Age. 100% confirmed by Age. Chat saying it.
on
I can, yeah, okay, fine.
But any other? I mean, I guess the big question here is like story wise. Do you think we're killing Crocotork in this episode?
No.
From the miss, Arlie spoke.
How long have we been dealing with Crocotork technically? For like
I mean, technically, since
since
like before Guild Wars 2, so the books. I mean,
like literally like in the story we see him and stuff like Path of Fire, or
I thought he showed up before then.
I don't remember.
I mean, we've been dealing with stupid
I mean,
Chatterer face since
he brand the
beginning
scar in the
Wars
events
2,
prior to
yeah.
Guild Wars 2. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
chat saying 5 years prior to launch story wise, but
Yeah.
When does the commander fight Crocotork? That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, the commander. Well, wait, no. Destiny's Edge fought him before the game started. We didn't really come in contact with him. We came in contact with the Chatterer. That's about it.
Oh, we didn't come
until-
into oh, okay. We didn't come into contact with Crocotork till the end of Path of Fire, right? No? Am I wrong?
With everything with Balthazar and stuff, I think.
Okay.
yeah, I think that was his first time he appeared in front of us. I mean,
Okay, so we had basically an entire season with Crocotork.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to say. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of losing, just because it's a different take on story.
Right.
But I'm gonna say we deal with it. I won't necessarily say we'll kill him, but I'll say we'll deal with him.
I mean, yeah, I think we're going to do something with him, but I would be surprised if we actually kill him this episode.
Because I'm like,
I slightly like Bjorn's idea of Caithe will sacrifice herself to revive Aurene, because
I
he
don't
does
know.
have powers of Mordramoth, where he was putting himself into other.
She doesn't necessarily have those powers.
Well, but that was the thing. That's why we had to kill Traherne.
Yes, that's why
because-
we had to kill Traherne, because Mordramoth put himself in Traherne. Traherne himself did not have the ability to become Mordramoth. That was because Mordramoth did that.
But then he could have got back out
Caithe
of his conscious and
Well, no, but the whole thing
wreaked
was
havoc.
Mordramoth reached into his consciousness and planted a seed into Traherne. It wasn't already there. Like, that's what he specifically said, that he felt him put himself in there while we were fighting him as a protection.
It's like a virus.
Yeah.
It's
I
just-
don't
He's
I
spreading.
don't
He was
think
spreading
that
his
he
consciousness.
just naturally has that ability. That seems a little that
He
would be
would-
crazy to me.
But
Like-
Aurene would, if she got that
Maybe.
ability.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe. It's
But
one of the
Aurene's-
abilities Mordramoth had that.
Yeah. I don't know.
But what did she do beforehand? She corrupted Caithe.
Right, but like I don't know. Like I totally could see Caithe being willing to do that, but I also feel like that would be I don't know. I don't like that outcome that much. That I feel like that makes everything we did in the last episode moot.
The thing
Which is a Norn celebration, which means she's coming back. Confirmed. You heard it here first, people.
Bjorn, that's a good point. They didn't actually say what the map name was.
Yeah.
Oh, that we're getting?
And
Yeah.
They usually do that.
I feel like if they did that, it probably either we're not getting a new map and they're using existing maps, which would be fine, or like if they told us, it would have been too big of a spoiler, you know?
Yeah. They might expand Thunderhead Peaks. Is it called now? So Thunderhead Peaks to incorporate the story, but it might be a new map too. I think they actually no. I think they did say that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited because I don't know anything. And it's less.
Yeah.
episode.
And I think that's the biggest question is, do you guys prefer that we don't really know that much going in?
Mhm.
Or would you have liked some like with the other ones, it was like, oh, we're going to sneak into the bases and stuff. And so we knew like a CERN tech was involved in like one of the ones or.
Right.
I did say new map. Okay.
Oh, it did?
But yeah, I am glad. I am glad that we don't know anything. I want to go in blind. After that episode, I want to go in blind.
Like I like to theorize and speculate about what will happen, but I don't want them to guide that at all, you know? This trailer was really well constructed, and like the way everything was set up and shown and like passing through, and like when it finally panned over to Aurene's impaled body, it was just like, oh, you know, all over again. I liked it.
Right, the feels. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the player character just like, oh.
Right.
But then like stands up and it's like, we gotta fight.
Right. And I also feel like the trailer was calling out, like we found out a while ago that Timey's disease is getting worse and stuff. So I'm wondering if like it looks like in the trailer to me that some time has passed, probably not a lot of time, but like a week, you know, days, whatever has passed since everything happened. So I'm wondering if like Timey has been even worse in the intervening time or something. Like we might end the season losing Timey as well, you know?
Oof. Yeah, chat's saying like it feels like the trailer took like kind of like almost what you're saying, like right after the last episode, like very closely.
Right. Like maybe at most a week went by, couple of days, something like that, you know? But like it's also the kind of thing that gets hard to tell too, because like for all the people we see in this this little trailer, it's a huge loss, and they're not going to just go off somewhere else. Like I can understand them staying there for like a week or something, trying to figure out what to do next, you know?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I mean, luckily we're not gonna wait long. Literally this coming Tuesday, and wow. So, and like we said, it's rolling right into the another season. So this isn't like gonna tease into a expansion or
Unless the no expansion was a red herring.
true. Yes, if you want to be that version of the internet, yes. If they are lying to us at every corner,
You can't trust ArenaNet.
they're lying to us at every corner. I can't wait for Guild Wars 3 when they announce at the very end of this season. Yeah, that's but yeah, I can't wait, and I'm sure there's gonna be loads of people doing day one videos. I know I'm going to try to, or pretty close to, but
yeah, I'm probably not going to get to play until like Friday that week, but
I'm kind of considering taking the day off.
I mean, don't always do that. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be bugs where you won't be able to get in the first couple hours.
Yeah, that's true. I want to know.
yeah, I'm still annoyed that there were expansions at all. I like both expansions we got, but I always say, I never wanted an expansion. I was fine with no expansion.
But I'm wondering, like I said, if they're testing, like we talked about with the bundles last week, this as a monetization strategy, and I'm curious of how much hype they're drumming up over this versus an expansion.
Right.
But, who knows? We'll definitely find out, but it should be 3 expansion, Mike. But, kind of going along those same lines of, we talked about the Requiem stories, like we had Ritlock, we had, I can never remember her name. I think Zafira, and now we have Caithe, and that's basically what everybody was kind of suspected from the silhouette of it. But yeah, we definitely got it, and it seemed like it was predominantly written by Samantha Walschlager.
Yep.
But she actually said on Twitter that she put a lot of her personal pain into the story, and it feels like opening her skin and displaying her cracked bones for everyone to see, but she is proud of it and hopes everyone enjoys it. But I think the big question is what do you guys, how did you enjoy the Caithe story? And I'd love to hear Chat's thoughts. I mean,
for me, it's not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting more stuff relating directly to Irene. So that part of me was disappointed because this is more focused on her backstory and how we got to hear from there to here. But that said, the story, the way it was done, is a very well done story. It was interesting to hear all of that stuff and what it was like, not just with Fallon, but then what she was thinking about when she was taking the egg and why she did that, and a little more backstory on that. Also, the whole part where she was talking about her relationship to Fallon, whatever. It read as being very real and honest to me. I was like, this is a really good recounting of what it feels like to be in an emotionally abusive relationship. So that was really well executed. So I appreciate it for what we got, even though it wasn't what I was expecting or had necessarily wanted.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know if Arlie met Samantha at PAX, but
I did. Yeah.
Okay, so I did too, and she's a cool person, and I was reading. I'm like, oh damn, I feel so bad. Why do I feel so bad? But yeah, it was really well written. It detailed not only from her perspective and her experience. And she was able to make it work, especially in this case with Caithe and Fallon, and just the whole and kind of just sinking it back into all of the Guild Wars 2 story that we've heard about, in terms of the Pale Tree, Firstborn, Secondborn, the start of the Nightmare Courts, and all the way up to Irene herself and her or fate, as it were, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely I think maybe for some people maybe a tough read, and I can understand where you're coming from, Arlie, and I know a lot of people had that stance of, especially because Caithe was kind of like Ritlock in the sense of it was an already established character,
Right.
and like you said before, Ritlock's kind of had the backstory, but also kind of felt like it kept it in the moment, whereas
Mhm.
this one kind of went the way of Zephyra's, where it kind of was like lots of backstory, but
Right.
so it was I can understand disappointing in that aspect, but it is, you know, very well written, and you could definitely tell, like Samantha said on Twitter, like definitely exposing herself in this emotionally in this, and you know, I think the only thing we could really say is, you know, like, you know, thank you for doing that. I mean,
Right.
that's a
Well,
very tough thing to do. It's
I was going to say, I think that's one of the main reasons why it read to me as feeling very authentic and real.
yeah.
Because of that.
But like chat's even saying, like they'd like to see like almost like a side like animated short series like with
Mhm.
like some of these stories, which yeah, that
Be
like
amazing.
once again, if we wouldn't be able to get stuff in game, I think that would be an awesome
yeah.
thing, you know.
The the thing is with, you know how they kind of summed up Living World season 1.
Mhm.
It's more like that type of format, but it's better for this. It's better for these types of stories because they're much more condensed. You're not
Right.
missing out on like hours of events that happened.
Right. Well, the other thing is like writing a Twine story is like, I mean, writing in general is difficult, whatever, but the actual mechanics of putting together a Twine story are fairly straightforward and easy, especially with things like this where you have limited choices and you're not going to different outcomes and all of that. It's pretty straightforward to put that together. It doesn't take a whole lot of dev time. When you start talking about making animated videos or like something that will actually be in game, that takes a lot more dev time, and their time, they only have so much to work on certain things. So like, I feel like if they had taken the stance of it could only be in the game or it had to be a video, we probably would have never seen these stories, just because it would have
Yeah.
had to, their time would have had to come from somewhere else. Something else would have had to be pushed off to be able to get it done. Um, so I kind of understand it on that aspect. Um,
Yeah,
Also, like people were originally saying that like the Ritlock one, they wanted to play through that and have actual gameplay, and that was my point. I was like, as gameplay, that story wouldn't work well because it's very introspective and him just talking about his feelings. And yeah, you could play through those moments, but that's also the sort of thing a lot of people get annoyed with really quickly. Like,
Mhm.
especially if it's extended to show all the things that they wanted to show of his history of why he was where he was when Aurene died. I just don't think it would translate very well to gameplay.
yeah. It's more of a thing that's meant to be experienced by thinking, I guess, rather than actually doing. If you can understand where I'm going with that.
Mm-hmm.
You want the person to not like skip the dialogue. You want the person to like really focus on what the person's saying.
Right.
That's what
Really
that,
focus on the words and all of that. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I guess in chat saying they kind of brought it up just to see if like, because one of the criticisms is blogs in the past of we've always wanted more story in game. Do you
Right.
guys think there would be a way to somehow inject it into the game that would work? Like I think they also suggested the book tech that we've had, and
Right. I don't know about reading it. I mean, reading it as a book would work, like, because that's essentially what you're doing on the website. But I don't know exactly what goes into implementing that into the game. Like, I have to imagine that it's more things than just putting up a Twine thing, because they went with this
yeah,
way instead of just doing a book kind of thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I generally always prefer as much being in game as possible, but I also recognize that like when it comes to, okay, well, if we were putting it in the game, it would take this time, so we wouldn't do it because it would take too much time, as opposed to not getting it at all. I would always prefer to get the outside stuff too.
Yeah. And I think the one worry is if it's in a book, like example for like Ritlock or something, is it gonna create more jokes about the character? Because like, why does
Right.
Ritlock have a journal? Like,
Right.
his
Yeah,
deepest,
that also,
darkest,
that's a
like,
good point. Like Murloc wouldn't keep a journal. How would that work? How would that
yeah.
make sense, you know? Yeah, I
And
didn't think
why
about
did we like, did he leave it on his nightstand and we snuck it? Like, what, how would we come across a,
that.
so while I would, and I am one of those people that I would prefer as much as possible in there, but how would it work is, I guess, the biggest
Yeah.
problem.
The only way, like, otherwise than this that I could really see it working is a cutscene or something with them narrating their thoughts. Like, I think that would be the best way it could be in game, but I still don't know if that would be worth the dev time to make all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's more also it pays in terms of the attention span.
Mm-hmm.
So for people in game that for the book format, I think mostly people who are interested in the lore will actually read it versus
Mm-hmm.
a person who's playing through the game itself.
Right.
So it really depends on how much of the story you want people to know versus, this is actual side story. You don't need to know this.
Mm-hmm.
The twine thing is kind of like in the middle. It's like you don't need this for the next episode, but it's
Right.
cool for people if they want to know like the characters, what they're feeling at that point in time. So.
Right. Well, and I think that's probably why Caithe's especially was so not rooted in everything that just happened, because if they revealed major things there out of game that could inform on what we think happens in the next one, that would be kind of a huge problem for that not to be in the game, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that's my thing with anything outside of the game. Like, it should always like flesh out things more, give you extra knowledge, like make things feel more complete. But at the same time, nothing that's outside of the game should be direly important. Like where you wouldn't necessarily know things. Like it's one of the things that I loved it, but also is kind of a criticism is back with Scarlet. We got the intro blog post about Scarlet where they're talking about her. And there was a line in there when Scarlet went into the machine and the Peltree was talking to her. And she said, I can't remember the exact line, but it was something along the lines, you're messing with the forces that created us. And to me, that always stuck with me because even at the time, I was like, wow, wait, what does that mean? Like, what's the Peltree hinting at? Which in hindsight, is she was poking at Mordermoth because that's where she got her insanity too, because she was poking at him. But that's a pretty big thing, even though it wasn't directly said, that wasn't in game, you know? So, like,
Yeah.
there's a balance.
Yeah. And it is one of those tough things. I just hope they, I think they did a good job at doing it. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
like
mean,
we
it's
said, it's like, how would they implement it in here? But
right. Like I said, like I wanted more from it, but I also understand why they went where they did with it, and what they did was really cool. I like it.
mhm.
And it was really cool, like as a partner tie-in, to give some of their partner artists a chance to like draw something and be featured. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing is like people were saying like, we'd like to see more of it. And like you said, we probably wouldn't have seen these stories. I wouldn't be surprised if not like word for word how they had it, but a lot of this was like maybe part of maybe their writing exercise of like getting into the head of
Right.
Caithe or Ritlock or
Mm-hmm.
Zafira or like, and maybe they had these ideas out there. Then they probably had to flesh it a little bit more out for the
Mm-hmm.
story itself. But
Right. Well,
so
they always have a lot of stories that they have ideas and like outlines for that they just necessarily don't have the time to get to. It's one of the things that Matt Medina talked about often was like there were so many stories that he had that he wanted to work on. And I forget which one. There was one in particular he mentioned, and I was like, oh my God, I would kill for that story. Please just do that.
The Abaddon one? The Abaddon one, right? The
No.
Abaddon. Oh, yeah, because it's actually still
Definitely
happening.
not
Sweet.
Abaddon.
It's still happening. That's why. Yes.
Oh my God.
Mm.
You hurt Age's head. See, he's rubbing his eyes. He's like, oh God.
Which eyes? Because Abaddon got 6 of them.
Oh my God.
That's not how this works.
This is not how any of this works. Anyway.
But yeah, so definitely, read that. I know they did a guild chat about overarching, like, of all the whole Requiem storyline. I definitely recommend checking that out as well. But
They did a Q&A for that one, which is very interesting. So, for those who didn't see, Ruby put it on the forums that they kind of want to do it a little differently and just take in questions in terms. So that might be cool for anyone who's interested in writing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think it had Tom Abernathy, who's the studio narrative director, story editor Julia Nardin, and the narrative designer Alex Kane. So there's, it wasn't like, yeah, we grabbed 3 of the interns. Like, so yeah, if you're looking for information, once again, I think Guild Chat, if you're wanting to get into the business, definitely check out one of their Guild Chats, and because they're usually open for questions. We always say this about like the sound designers and everything else, but yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. But kind of talking about the development of characters, they did put out on YouTube and in a blog post a behind the voice for Mara Juno. I'm gonna go with.
I like how you can't pronounce any names.
Yeah, me too.
It's just you just give it up.
I feel like if somebody's name was Smith, he'd be like Smyther.
Love you, Dale.
Well, I don't want to go full like English and go Janot, like, because that could be like French or whatever. I apologize.
Hey, at least you're consistent though.
Yes. Consistently inconsistent. That's the way we like it. But she is actually going to be the new Charr female player character. She was also apparently some of the other voices in Guild Wars 2. I think they were the counselors in POF. Like the
I think one was a counselor.
And you might know her voice from some other games like World of Warcraft, Alaria Windrunner, League of Legends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't play World of Warcraft.
That's
why it's a dead game. It's a dead game. League of Legends, Evelyn.
You got it. You got it right.
Yeah,
I got one. Got one. Oh boy.
We're terrible people.
And like I tried looking at her IMDb like that. That's a whole slew of things, but apparently I think in the video she actually talks about how she started in radio and stuff like that. But definitely interesting to hear some more backstory on voices that we're constantly hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I told Dave about this in after show last week, but it's like next year for TennoCon they have this package where you can actually do you can go into booth and voice an NPC. So I kind of want to do that.
Oh wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So that I could put that on my IMDb, which is nothing. It's non-existent.
So you're gonna create IMDb so you can put that on there.
There you go. It's like bucket
and then
list.
You could put you're on the Talking Skritt podcast.
Is that IMDb worthy though? Podcasts?
Whoa, what? Yeah.
Really?
This one is.
Does Greg Miller have
I don't
IMDb?
know.
I'm kind of curious now.
I think you should break the barrier.
Sure.
Be the first person to start ruining IMDb.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
What, are you mad at me? Are you gonna challenge
No.
me? Maybe throw the gauntlet down at me?
No.
No? You sure?
Pretty sure.
Maybe fight me in like a board game?
Oh my.
No. Unless it's
No.
D&D.
Hey.
I've been known to kill some people in D&D. Well,
I
smear
mean-
kill people.
I have bull rushed age in real life, so
Yeah.
can work.
The trauma still remains. Oh, that's
There you go.
true.
We can make an IMDb page for Talking Skritt. There we go.
Oh my.
But
Life goals.
we've been talking about it in the past weeks. The Mox Gauntlet, that the ArenaNet crew is participating in, and you can basically sign or pledge money, donate money for them, and we'll throw the link in chat. And then, of course, if you're watching on YouTube or whatnot, the links will be in the description. But they've actually added a little thing now that episode 6, we know the date and all that stuff, and the little teaser for it. So they are doing some fun little giveaways for every milestone that they reach. So for $1,000, they are going to give away a Quaggan mug with a box signed by the ArenaNet Gauntlet team.
Nice.
Yeah. $2,000, Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire vinyl soundtracks signed by the ArenaNet Gauntlet team. $3,000, 5 Guild Wars 2 mouse mats signed by the ArenaNet Gauntlet team. $4,000, Guild Wars 2 Collector's Edition signed by the ArenaNet Gauntlet team.
Nice.
And $5,000 Guild Wars Collector's Edition signed by the ArenaNet Gauntlet team. So, but wait, that's not all.
I need that last one. The other ones I could get, or I have. I just need signed. But like that last one.
Yeah, because if you didn't notice, the last one is a Guild Wars, not like the original. So
Right.
that is pretty awesome. But they also said as they reach donation milestones over the next 5 days, they will give some hints on how to acquire your Skyscale mount. So basically how it's going to work: for every $2,000 they raise for this year's charity, they will share a screenshot of one of the scales in the new map to help you find a little more quickly the Warrior Eternal when it launches next Tuesday. And they said up to 6 screenshots. And I think since it already passed the $2,000 mark, they did release one, which we do have here. You can see the little image here. Not really much to go on.
Yeah, they released one just to start.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was because they reached the 2,000 mark or.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't give away much, but
Yeah. There's gonna be ground in the new map. That's all we know.
yeah, I they kind of have to do it in a way that doesn't give away what the map is like, because like that's one of the things that I want secret for myself. So I guess I won't look at that thread, but at least you have the Gauntlet team page. So.
Yep.
Fissure will
Chat's-
for sure.
Chat's still banging on its Fissure Woe, which who knows?
Doesn't have to. Fissure of Woe was like the red skies of death and destruction, right?
It's been a while, but I mean,
It's been a while. That's what I remember. And then it was like a war-torn land, not necessarily like a lava volcano island type, but like a battleground, and it was war-torn. It was like red and black skies. It's cool. Oh yeah, we could go into the mist. It's not off the table.
it's not the misfight me. That's what Balthazar would want you to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully maybe we'll get some more hints at that. But yeah, let's talk about we're already in May. NCSoft has released their Q1 earnings report, and you can see it here how it's panned out with all their games. And if you look, Lineage 2 was on an uptick from last quarter, and so was Guild Wars 2. Everything else kind of went downward.
Oh, that Lineage downtake. What the heck?
Yeah, Lineage, like what happened in Lineage?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with when they split off Lineage and Lineage M, which is their mobile version, which I would assume brings it into their mobile games
probably
category.
Propping up Lineage numbers a bit.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense.
And Chad, don't worry, I would never pronounce Mingus wrong.
Mingus?
Yes, Mingus. But
It
yeah,
up,
so
it was a Gaelic, was it?
Yeah, I think it's something with like it's usually, I think it's somewhere in like the
Yeah, but apparently it's Gaelic origins. I think
something like the Highlands or something like that. Sounds about right.
Blade and Soul is actually doing pretty well. Nothing.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I haven't played Blade and Soul in quite a while, but I'm kind of surprised it's as like even as it is.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back into Blade and Soul for a bit, see what's up.
Well, isn't that what chat was saying about that they're actually like revamping everything? So
right.
Yeah,
on like the Unreal Engine, so that'll be interesting.
I always forget that Aeon is a game that exists.
Still popular though.
I know.
It's really, that game came out when
came out while Guild Wars 1 was still going.
like 2002, I think, something like
that. 2008.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Holy cow!
Yep.
I'm surprised. Huh.
Okay, chat saying Blade and Soul has a big following in Asian markets and is assisted by an active side manga.
Yeah.
It's assisted by a what?
A side
There's a manga.
Oh, I didn't know there was a manga for that.
Yeah, there was an anime too, I think. Yeah, there was an anime. I watched it.
Oh, okay. Cool. I had no idea.
But yeah, numbers are looking okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good for this quarter. Was basically the War Claw, the 50% off codes, like type thing, kind of the bringing back people for Living World releases, if they missed out type thing. So that's, I think that number right there is, pretty good for not a real, nothing that they put out that you would really pay money for.
Right. There's no expansion, no like huge things.
Yeah, and they're trying all new marketing things right now, so it'd be interesting to see next quarter.
Yeah, but they did say overall that it seemed like it was a weak quarter for NCSoft, but which you could definitely see there was a lot of downticks, but and not a big
Except
amount
for Lineage too.
Yeah.
That just shocks me. I don't know.
It's a good
Lineage
game.
and Lineage 2, I'm just confused about.
Lineage 2 is actually a fairly good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played it in a long time, but
are you waiting for them to make vanilla servers for it or something?
No.
Oh.
No. Oh man. Yeah. Like if Aeon has existed for 11 years now, well, not in total, but like going on in this 11th year, so that's still pretty good. Yeah, it's like WoW in Asia. So,
I mean,
good stuff. Too bad no Lineage 3 because Black Desert.
Yeah, I mean,
Lineage came out in 1998. Really?
Yeah, it came out before EQ.
Wow. That's insane. Lineage 2 was 2003.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised by Aeon a little bit. But
It's still there.
no. Like it's still like pretty decent given its age. So
Yeah. I have to try Lineage 2 sometime. Stream it just for shits and giggles.
yeah, I might hop into.
I mean,
Yeah.
can't be worse than what was the game that everybody was Blast, that's it. I
There
like
was
how you
something-
instantly knew which one I was talking about.
Yeah, you're like,
Oh.
can't be worse than that.
I
The other
remember.
one would be Revelation Online. That was terrible as well.
Oh, and chat saying Ion also just got an expansion recently, and
Oh.
I did see them saying that I guess there's murmurs about like an Ion mobile. So
Right.
There's like a Blessed remastered thing I saw recently.
There's some other game that is not Bless the MMORPG, but Bless something else.
Oh, okay. So it's
And
like,
people were talking about that recently, and we needed a reviewer to cover something new they came out for that. And I was like, I'm a bad choice for that. I hated that game. And they're like, really? And then we realized we were talking about two different games.
wow.
yeah,
like,
chat's asking, are the Guild Wars 1 sales including the Guild Wars 2 chart? I don't believe so. They used to have a category of like other IPs, which I'm assuming that's where
Right.
it is. What it went. They currently don't at least show those by graph, which I'm guessing is
Right.
because it's probably real low.
so small that it's inconsequential.
Because I still remember we used to talk about it because after a certain while, WildStar got merged into that where they were like other IPs.
Right.
So I think that's
Poor Wildstar.
could have been such a good.
I know. It could have been a great game.
Yeah.
yeah. I agree with Chuck. Guild Wars 2 is a remarkably stable,
Mm-hmm.
game, especially
Or-
the
yeah,
trend
Western.
of how MMOs
Right.
go.
Mm-hmm.
For a Western MMO, yeah.
Yes.
I think the
So
most stable have been right now. It's what ESO, Final Fantasy 14, Guild Wars 2, WoW still.
As much as people keep saying that WoW is at its lowest subscription
Dead game.
number ever, it's still strong. It's so strong. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
but did you hear him just name off all those other WoW killers?
Yeah. Turns out there's enough people in the world to support more than one MMO. Crazy.
No, there can only be one. But yeah, so I would have to say, with all the stuff that happened, I think during this quarter, with the layoffs and stuff, I mean,
Right.
at least that little uptick, hopefully, shows them that maybe things are going in the right direction type thing.
Right.
But yes, and hey, if you want to make that uptick even better next quarter, you know what you got to do? Spend some money
Gem
in the
store.
Yeah. And always, thank you, Dolphin.net. Check out Dolphin.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. First up, we have the Ether-bound gauntlets. You can kind of see them here for 500 gems.
Is it Ether or Aether?
I've heard of both. What I thought Aether would be AETHER.
Is this one just ETHER?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You
Jeez.
take Fire Emblem's Ether.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the whole video, not letting me have one. Days.
I didn't know how it was written. I was curious.
Okay.
I do think they look cool.
Yeah, they look pretty nice.
A question about on the female, like there's those shoulders. What are those shoulders? I want to know what those shoulders are because I want them.
Oh,
Isn't that Casimir's outfit? Or am I mistaken?
It can't be an outfit because
think-
she's wearing the gloves.
Dev hacked. Good point.
I think I forget. I forget already, and I was looking at them recently too. Anyway,
All right. Well, if you
but
think
they
of it,
do
let
these.
me know because those are awesome looking shoulders.
Yeah, if you scroll through the wardrobe, you'll be able to find them. But
There's so many shoulders in there, dude.
I'm sorry.
You should be. Also,
Chat's
like
saying it
the
looks like the
icon.
birthday latest armor. So
Oh, interesting. The icon for what a thing in the wardrobe looks like versus what it actually looked like doesn't always line up. So you have to actually click on each
yeah,
thing to see.
Chat's saying maybe Phoenix possibly, but they're also saying the gauntlets look a lot better in game. The animations are amazing. So yeah, definitely. You know,
I think it
stills.
looked pretty good there. Yeah.
Yeah, they look nice there. I can't even imagine like on top of it. It's like
Yeah.
500 gems. They can be yours. Also, they got 50% off digital deluxe upgrades for both Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, and that's May 10th through May 16th. So definitely make sure to pick those up. But also, we've talked about it previous weeks, the War Eternals supply drop requisition, and we are on the third week, so the current price will be 2,700 gems, which is still a 10% discount. And do remember, we told you before, but you do, even though you're buying it during week 3, you do get the stuff from week 1 and week 2. It's just you don't get it at the heavily discounted price that it was previously.
Right.
Though if you do act now before the 14th, you know, maybe treat yourself a little bit before War Eternal drops. Like I said, you can get 2,700 gems, but once 14th drops, maybe you're so enthralled with War Eternal, you're like, maybe I should have got this. Well, you're unfortunately going to have to pay the full 3,000 gems. But at this 2,700 gem price point, since we've done it in the previous weeks, would you still consider this a good value for people to go after? If
It depends if you want the major things, like I said previous
Right.
weeks, pretty much. You kind of have to do the math at this point because it's kind of like in that gray area. I think
Yeah.
the first 2 weeks it was like for sure, but now it's like I'm not sure. But there's cool stuff in there. For me, it's not worth it for me just because like I don't need the mount skins because I'm good.
Right.
But there's like voucher tickets in there for like weapons and stuff. So take a look, do the math, make a decision.
Yep. Like if you want the stuff, then yeah, it's a good idea. Otherwise, you know.
Yeah, like QED says, and we talked about it in the previous weeks, it's like a hidden optional kind of subscription thing, which
Right.
I don't think you were here previously last week early when we were talking about it. Do you like this idea if this is like a test bed for a optional subscription type thing? Like
Sure, I guess. Like I mean, it's not my only issue with monetizing is like if it's abusive in some way or it makes it so you have to pay for the money. As long as it's like optional stuff, then whatever. Like if it helps them support the game, then sure.
Yeah, this is I like this type of thing. It's kind of adding the option for a sub without actually adding the option for a sub. And it's like 4 weeks of cool stuff. So
yeah, it seems like chat likes the idea. You know, if you that's like a kind of optional sub that you get little nice little perks for. Yeah, so sounds like chat wants to make it a regular thing. So if it was there for every episode, which would be, you know, every 2 to 3 months ish, which yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I mean,
yeah, I'll be okay with it.
And the greatest part would be if you don't want it, you don't have to get it. But also returning this week, you were talking about mount skins. They have the Night Fang Griffin skin, the Sun Temple Gecko Springer skin, the Shrine Guardian Jackal skin, and the Dreadnought Raptor skin, all for 2,000 gems apiece. So that's each of them. And you can get the Blackline Huntress or Hunters contract, the Blackline Expedition contract, or sorry, they're separate prices. My bad. The Blackline Hunters contract is for 1,200 gems. The Blackline Expedition contract is for 1,000 gems, and the Blackline Keys and Scrap package is 900 gems. So you can pick those up. Get yourself ready for an eternal war. Would you recommend picking up any of those returning items? Are you a fan of any of the skins?
I like the Dreadnought Raptor skin. I haven't gotten it, but I do like it.
Yeah. Oh wait, is that the one with the crazy armor on it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. That one is
the
awesome.
Shrine Guardian one. Isn't that the Jackal skin? Isn't that
Oh,
the Nine
the
Tails
Shrine
one?
Guardian. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
my brain didn't process that. That, if you don't have it, it's awesome. I bought that when it first was around. What is it? Minoko, I think it is. There's one of the animes with the Shrine Guardian. It's cool, and it's kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely looks.
You mean like Princess Mononoke?
Yes, that's what my brain was trying to think of. I don't know if it is that one, but it's what popped in my brain when I was trying to think of it.
Yeah, there's a wolf. I don't remember. Yeah, it's similar. Similar.
But yeah, so definitely pick those up if you want to get them. Last up, we have Community Corner. We talked about it last week. The Multiple Sclerosis MS Toga Party 2019. It did just finish, but I'm sure there's going to be highlights and whatnot that if you want to check them out, it's for a great cause. I'm sure you could probably, still donate if you want to. We'll throw the link in chat. Once again, if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever, links will be in the description. But, such a great cause. It's from Gamers Giving Back, who have done Pink Day in LA, this as well. I think they do other things in other games, but, Guild Wars 2 specific are those two big ones. But yeah, definitely check it out. I saw them tweeting out a lot of stuff where they were saying, like, they were doing their balloon brawl, like their fashion wars, like whoever won and stuff, and we're giving out prizes. So definitely, check that out if you have a chance. I know a lot of people were streaming. I think last week people were telling us Iron Maiden was streaming it. So, I know that's one person in particular, but I'm sure there was multiple. But yeah, so definitely check that out. Next up, we have the Snow Crows Viability Competition. They just announced their winners today. The winners were in first place, since it's just the tags, CL with a 1 minute and 39 kill. 1 minute and 39 second kill, sorry. 2 was from Guild Saul with a 1 minute and 40 second kill. And number 3 was plus QT with a 1 minute and 49 second kill. And yeah, well, next month's challenge will be all about Deimos CM, which looks like the makeup for that will be that you have to use is 2 Chronos, 2 Mirages, a Spellbreaker, a Core Thief, a Deadeye, a Firebrand, and
Tempest and Scrapper.
Tempest and Scrapper. So, that's a lot of Mesmers.
And it's for Deimos CM.
Yeah. So,
it's a lot of Mesmers, yeah.
Yeah. Good luck to everyone for that. Any other thoughts on the Snow Crows or the MS Toga Party?
Yeah, I don't, because I remember they said they had a rule where uh, you had like pro raiders versus like non-pro, which means like if you participated in the raiding party tournaments, I think this time around anyone can enter. I think they said they'd alternate that rule a bit.
Yeah, I thought they would do every other one or something they said, but yeah,
Yeah.
chat's saying with the two chronomancers, it's gonna
Yeah,
make it pretty easy. Well, hopefully we'll see a really fast numbers, but
yeah. Who tanks for that? Guess the Tempest does.
but
Sorry, I'm thinking about that. Yeah, that'll be cool. The winners of the ARP get invited to the ARP. Yeah, yeah. So no, but the rule for the Snow Crows monthly competition is I remember reading people who are in the elite raid party tournaments couldn't, but I think they alternated that rule.
yeah, I
Like
thought they
couldn't
said
participate
like
in the Snow Crows tournament. But I think they alternated that rule for this time. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I think, yeah. Anyway.
I think that is it for this week. Let's end this so we can get to Tuesday quicker. Age, where can they find you?
Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Age Night Road. I might stream later tonight because I'll get my farming done. So I just need one more Dragon Stand, and I'll probably do Stiff. So.
And we were blocking you from doing that. You had the show to do. We thank you for that. And Robin, where can they find you?
On Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Arlie82. Yay!
Awesome. And you can find me at Sibley_Dea on Twitch and Twitter. And I am starting to feel better, so hopefully I'll be able to stream some more stuff this week. Hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday-ish, maybe the living story stuff with my brainwave device. But yeah, if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. If you want to watch this in full, we do highlight it on Twitch, twitch.tv/MAAD, 2 A's in the MAAD. If you prefer YouTube, if that is your platform of choice, we do throw it up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MAAD. That goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. But if you want to make it out to the live show, like we said on Twitch, we go live at Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And if you want it all in one nice little cozy package, just go to our website, maadrealms.com. That's 2 A's in the MAAD. That way, that's where we put it up on Sundays. It goes live at the same time as the YouTube one, but it also has the audio-only versions in case that's what you want. If you want to listen to it rather than see our beautiful faces. But yeah, that is it for this week. And yeah, can't wait for the end of the story. Well, this season's story.
Hype!
Yeah. I'll see everybody next time and in the game. Good night, everybody.